Most men believe attraction is about saying something clever, funny, or impressive. They think a perfectly timed joke, a witty line, or a charming story will make a woman notice them. But the truth is far more subtle and far more powerful. Words alone rarely create real attraction. What truly matters is the emotional signal behind those words, your tone, your intention, your presence. Women don't respond to the literal meaning of your sentences the way men do. While men focus on facts, logic, and content, women are constantly scanning for emotional cues. They notice confidence, hesitation, attention, and authenticity. They feel the energy behind what you say, even more than the words themselves. This is why two men can say the exact same sentence, yet one leaves a woman intrigued and curious while the other feels awkward or forgettable. Here's the secret many men never understand. Attraction is less about impressing someone and more about communicating honestly, clearly, and with emotional awareness. And this is where older men have a natural advantage. They don't feel the need to perform or prove themselves. They speak with presence, calm confidence, and emotional clarity. Their words carry weight because they are aligned with how they feel and who they are. In this conversation, there are three simple words that, when used naturally, have the power to trigger attraction almost instantly. These words convey intention, attention, and recognition, qualities that women notice deeply, even when unspoken. Younger men rarely use them, not because they are complicated, but because they haven't yet mastered the subtle psychology of female attraction. Stay with me, because by the end, you'll understand how to use these three words to create genuine, memorable connections, and why they can make a woman feel truly seen and understood.
Attraction isn't built on clever lines or rehearsed stories. It's built on emotional signals. When a man speaks, a woman isn't just listening to his words, she's noticing his tone, his posture, his confidence, and the subtle energy he brings into the interaction. These cues often speak louder than the words themselves. Two men can say the exact same sentence, but one leaves a lasting impression while the other fades into the background. Why? Because one communicates with presence and authenticity, while the other is distracted by trying to impress. This is why older men often have an advantage in attraction. They don't feel the need to perform or prove themselves. Their conversations aren't a competition or a stage performance. They are a natural expression of what they think and feel. This relaxed presence allows their words to carry more weight because every sentence is congruent with their tone, body language, and intention. Women are incredibly sensitive to this kind of emotional congruence. If your words say confidence but your body language shows hesitation, she notices immediately. But when your words, tone, and presence align, it communicates something far deeper than cleverness: trust, emotional comfort, and authenticity. These qualities make a woman feel safe, seen, and understood, the exact foundation upon which attraction grows. Psychologists explain that for women, attraction is deeply tied to emotional perception. They are constantly scanning for signals that answer silent questions. Does this man know who he is? Is he comfortable expressing himself? Is he paying attention to me? Or is he saying the same things to everyone? When your communication answers these questions positively, attraction happens naturally, without forced charm or overthinking. The key takeaway is simple. It's not what you say, but how you communicate it. And this is where the first of the three powerful words comes in, the word that signals clear intention. The first word that can quietly trigger attraction is want. It seems simple, almost obvious, but its psychological impact is profound. When a man clearly expresses what he wants, he communicates intention, direction, and emotional clarity, qualities that women subconsciously notice and value. Most men hesitate when expressing interest. They soften their words, say things like, maybe we could hang out sometime if you want, or, I don't know, what do you feel like doing? These sentences may sound polite, but they also signal uncertainty. Hesitation creates ambiguity, and ambiguity weakens attraction. It leaves the emotional door half closed rather than inviting her in. Now compare that to a subtle but powerful shift in language. I want to take you out for coffee this weekend. The sentence is almost identical in meaning, but the emotional signal is completely different. Instead of asking for permission, it expresses direction. It communicates that the speaker is comfortable with his intentions and confident in his desire. That clarity is magnetic. It's important to understand that using want is not about being aggressive, demanding, or controlling. It's about honest expression. Aggression pushes someone away, but honesty draws them in. When a man speaks from a place of comfort with his intentions, the conversation becomes relaxed, natural, and authentic. Women notice this immediately, even if they can't articulate why. Emotionally, want does something remarkable. It signals that the man knows himself, is clear about his intentions, and is comfortable sharing them. That emotional comfort is inherently attractive because it creates security and trust. Women feel that they are interacting with someone grounded, someone present, and someone who isn't performing for approval. Older men use this word naturally because they have learned through experience that clarity is more attractive than cleverness. They speak their desires without hesitation, and their words align with their presence. The result is a simple sentence that carries weight, intention, and confidence without being overbearing or rehearsed. Remember, it's not just the word want that matters, it's how it's spoken, aligned with presence, and delivered with calm confidence. This is why a single word used intentionally can shift the emotional tone of an entire conversation. The second word that can transform ordinary conversation into a moment of attraction is because. It seems small, almost invisible, yet it has the power to add emotional depth, meaning, and connection to everything you say. Most men give compliments or express interest in a vague, surface level way. They might say, I enjoy talking to you, or you're interesting. While polite, these statements lack specificity and emotional impact. They are generic phrases that could be said to anyone, and women sense this immediately. Without emotional depth, the interaction feels shallow, and attraction rarely grows. Now, add the word because. I enjoy talking to you because you notice things that others miss. Just one word shifts the entire tone of the sentence. Suddenly it feels personal, intentional, and observant. It communicates that you are paying attention, not just to how she looks or what she says, but to her unique qualities, the details that define her personality. That attention is magnetic. Psychologically, because signals that you are thinking about why someone matters to you. It transforms generic statements into meaningful observations. Women respond deeply to this because most interactions they experience are superficial. A man who takes the time to explain his thoughts demonstrates patience, observation, and care, all traits associated with emotional intelligence. The emotional impact of because is subtle but profound. It creates connection. When a woman realizes she is being noticed in a specific and meaningful way, she feels seen. That feeling encourages her to open up, engage more, and develop curiosity about the interaction. Curiosity is one of the strongest triggers of attraction. It draws people in without effort or performance. Older men often use this naturally because they listen carefully and speak deliberately. They don't rush the conversation or focus solely on themselves. Instead, their words reflect genuine observation, patience, and attention. By using because, they provide emotional clarity, demonstrating that their interest is thoughtful, intentional, and grounded in reality, not in superficiality or performative charm. In short, because elevates your words from statements to emotional signals. It communicates observation, attention, and emotional intelligence. Combined with want, it creates the foundation for attraction, clarity of intention, and meaningful connection. And that naturally leads us to the third, often overlooked word that completes this trio.
The third word that can quietly ignite attraction is appreciate. Unlike compliments, which often focus on surface level traits like looks or style, appreciation recognizes character, effort, and thoughtfulness. It conveys emotional awareness and shows that you notice what truly matters about a person. Most men instinctively compliment appearance. You look beautiful, nice outfit, or great smile. While these statements are kind, they are predictable and easy to give. Women hear them constantly, and over time, they become background noise. Genuine attraction requires a deeper connection than surface level praise. This is where appreciate comes in. For example, instead of saying, "You're smart," try, "I appreciate how thoughtful your perspective is." Or instead of, "You're funny," say, "I really appreciate how you notice the little details that make conversations so engaging." Notice the difference. One is a simple compliment, the other is recognition of qualities that define her character and intelligence. Recognition creates emotional impact because most people rarely feel truly seen. Psychologically, appreciate communicates validation. It tells her that you are observing, noticing, and valuing the deeper layers of who she is. That emotional recognition fosters trust, curiosity, and engagement. Women respond to this because it makes interactions feel meaningful, authentic, and memorable. When someone feels seen and understood, attraction grows naturally. Older men tend to use appreciation naturally because they are present and attentive. They listen without rushing, notice subtle behaviors or thought patterns, and speak intentionally. Their words reflect awareness and thoughtfulness rather than rehearsed charm or performance. This is why a simple phrase with appreciate can leave a lasting impression long after the conversation ends. The power of this word lies not in its complexity, but in its emotional resonance. Appreciation signals that you value the essence of a person, not just the superficial parts. And when combined with want, intention, and because, attention, it completes a communication formula that conveys clarity, focus, and genuine recognition, three pillars of attraction that many younger men overlook. In short, appreciate transforms ordinary words into emotionally charged moments. It allows a woman to feel seen, understood, and valued on a level that goes beyond surface impressions. And that is the secret older men use naturally to create deep, lasting attraction. Even the most carefully chosen words can lose their impact if they are not delivered with congruence and presence. Many men make the mistake of focusing only on what they say, without considering how they say it or whether their body language matches their words. This incongruence can completely undermine attraction. For example, a man might say, "I want to see you again," but avoid eye contact, fidget, or speak nervously. The words communicate confidence, but the body language signals hesitation. Women notice these subtle cues immediately. Human beings are wired to detect emotional signals beyond language, and when words and nonverbal behavior clash, trust and attraction weaken. Another common mistake is treating attraction like a performance. Younger men often feel pressure to impress, to be witty, or to appear successful. They rush conversations, overthink every sentence, or rely on rehearsed lines. But true confidence rarely looks like performance. Real confidence is calm, grounded, and comfortable with silence. It's about expressing your thoughts naturally, not about proving your worth. Overusing generic compliments is also a frequent error. Saying things like, "You're amazing," or "You're so pretty," may feel safe, but it rarely creates a meaningful connection. Without specificity, attention, and recognition, words remain forgettable. The key to avoiding these mistakes is congruence, making sure your words, tone, and body language all align. Speak calmly, maintain eye contact, and deliver your words with presence. Let your language reflect your true intentions and emotions. When your communication is authentic, your words carry weight, and the three powerful words, want, because, appreciate, can work their full effect. Remember, it's not just about the words themselves, it's how they are expressed. When words match presence, attraction grows naturally and effortlessly.
Older men often seem to attract attention effortlessly, and it's not because they know more lines, have flashy moves, or are inherently better looking. The secret lies in presence, emotional comfort, and authenticity. Unlike younger men who feel the need to perform, Older men approach conversations with a calm confidence that is immediately noticeable. They don't rush interactions or try to impress. Instead, they listen more than they speak, observing subtle details and responding thoughtfully. Their words are intentional, their tone is calm, and their body language is grounded. This creates an environment where women feel relaxed, safe, and emotionally engaged. When a woman senses that a man is comfortable with himself, she naturally opens up, becomes curious, and enjoys the conversation more. Older men also understand the power of emotional pacing. They allow silence to exist without discomfort, letting conversations breathe. They speak with clarity and purpose, using words that carry meaning and reflect genuine attention. This relaxed approach communicates trustworthiness and confidence, two of the strongest traits women subconsciously notice when forming attraction. Attraction grows not in loud gestures or clever lines, but in quiet, meaningful moments. It happens when a woman feels truly seen, understood, and appreciated. Older men instinctively create these moments because their communication reflects authenticity rather than performance. They focus on connection over charm, and women respond to that naturally. Ultimately, the advantage older men have is simple. They speak with alignment between their words, emotions, and presence. This alignment allows them to express intention, attention, and recognition effortlessly. The result is attraction that feels organic, comfortable, and lasting, without forcing humor, impressiveness, or theatrics. Knowing the words want, because, and appreciate is one thing, but using them naturally in conversation is another. The power of these words comes from intentional, congruent delivery, not from memorizing lines or overthinking. 1. Using want. When expressing what you want, be clear, calm, and honest. Avoid hesitation or qualifiers that soften your statement. For example, instead of, maybe we could hang out sometime if you want, say, I want to take you to that art exhibit this weekend. This communicates direction and confidence without being controlling. Women feel secure when your intentions are clear, and clarity naturally builds attraction. 2. Using because. Because adds emotional depth to your statements. It transforms generic observations into meaningful recognition. For example, instead of, I enjoy talking to you, say, I enjoy talking to you because you notice details others often miss. This signals that you are paying attention and value her unique qualities, which creates curiosity and emotional connection. 3. Using appreciate. Appreciation goes beyond compliments to acknowledge her character or thoughtfulness. For example, instead of, you're beautiful, say, I really appreciate how thoughtful you are. Appreciation shows emotional awareness and recognition, helping a woman feel truly seen and understood. The key is natural integration. These words should reflect your genuine thoughts, not forced phrases. Combine them with presence, eye contact, and calm tone, and you'll communicate authenticity effortlessly. By using these three words intentionally, you create a conversation that is grounded, meaningful, and emotionally engaging. Women respond to this type of communication instinctively, even if they can't explain why. It's less about impressing her and more about creating an interaction that feels real, comfortable, and memorable. Attraction is rarely built on clever lines, rehearsed stories, or surface-level compliments. True attraction grows from emotional connection, authenticity, and congruence, qualities that women notice instinctively. It's about the signals your words, tone, and presence send, more than the literal content of what you say. The three words we've explored, want, because, and appreciate, work because they convey intention, attention, and recognition. Want communicates clarity and direction, showing that you are comfortable expressing your desires. Because adds emotional depth, demonstrating that your words are thoughtful and personal. Appreciate acknowledges character and meaningful qualities, creating a sense of being seen and valued. When these words are used naturally, with calm presence and aligned body language, conversations become more genuine, memorable, and emotionally engaging. Women respond to interactions where they feel understood and noticed, and this creates attraction organically. It's not about trying harder or performing better, it's about communicating honestly and with awareness. Older men often do this effortlessly because they focus less on impressing and more on connecting. They speak intentionally, observe carefully, and allow conversations to breathe. This relaxed presence signals confidence and emotional stability, which are highly attractive qualities. The ultimate takeaway is simple. Attraction is not a set of tricks or lines, it's an emotional experience. By speaking with clarity, observing attentively, and acknowledging deeper qualities, you create interactions that feel authentic and impactful. These moments stay with a woman long after the conversation ends because she remembers how she felt, not just what was said. Master these principles, use want, because, and appreciate intentionally, and focus on presence and congruence. Attraction will grow naturally, effortlessly, and with depth, leaving lasting impressions that go far beyond any clever line or rehearsed phrase.